Hey everyone out there, thank you so much for tuning in to my review of week 4 of season 4 of Bravo's Real Housewives of Atlanta. Well, if you're like me, you definitely enjoyed tonight's episode. Pretty much it starts off with Kim welcoming a gift from Phaedra. If you remember from last week, they had sort of a falling out at the Kim and Croy's baby shower between Apollo and Peter. So pretty much, I think Phaedra was coming to kind of settle things out a little bit, and she brought her a really nice gift, and they started to talk about how the argument went from a discussion to an argument, actually, because it did. I think it kind of started off as a discussion, and it kind of blew up out of nowhere. So Phaedra and Kim kind of sit down and they talked about it, and I think Kim was a little bit disappointed that Cynthia had not spoken with her as Phaedra had, so on and so forth. So they pretty much sat down and they discussed things, and they kind of moved on from there. Cynthia, on the other hand, is in the midst of her husband's Peter opening up bar one. And she's still speaking with Peter about the bad blood between Peter and her sister Mel. There was a situation that happened at the wedding where Cynthia's sister and mother hid the marriage license from them, kind of in efforts to prevent them from getting married because there was a little concern there. So there is a lot of discussion about that. So what Cynthia did was Cynthia brought her sister Mel to bar one, which is the new bar again that is now already open. But she brought them together sort of to talk things out. I think Cynthia is the type of person where she would rather just talk things out just to kind of really prevent any sort of future bad blood from occurring. But it doesn't look like that happened, because what started off again as a discussion between Mel and Peter just blew up, and it caused Cynthia to walk back into the room and kind of try to mediate things from there. But it doesn't really look like it worked out. So in the upcoming weeks, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this matter is resolved, as I'm really optimistic that they will be. Next, we see Candy. Candy, of course, is about to celebrate her 35th birthday, and she's planning a fabulous birthday party. She wants it to be not so much star-studded, but she's going to have some family and friends, some of her industry friends, and she's planning this really nice birthday party at a very fabulous venue. I didn't catch the name of the venue, but apparently it's really nice. I think it looks like it's even rooftop. So, in her segment, they're kind of setting it up, so on and so forth. She has Sheree and she has Phaedra there to kind of give her the ins and outs or their suggestions or advice and so on and so forth. And that was pretty much that. I think what her ideas already are really good. So then next we have our beloved Nene, and Nene, Candy, and Derek J are at this store and they're shopping for shoes, and they was pretty much just really having a really good time. Nene, of course, is a very big fan of shoes, and I think that was Candy's motivation of getting her to come out to the shoe store with her. And then this is where she's also telling Nene her plans for actually having this birthday party. And then there was a concern about where Nene would have to sit because of the bad blood that she has had with Sheree. And Candy just said, look, it's just a party, the place is huge, you don't have to sit next to anyone that you don't want to sit next to. So pretty much that was that. And then Kim and Croy are having baby lessons. We all know that it's been several years since Kim has had to care for a baby, an infant. And so she brings in a nurse, a baby consultant, and they really pretty much, they're talking about how to care for the baby. And then it got to the point where they are talking about changing the diaper. Well, one of the biggest concerns for Kim at this point is, how does she care for a male child who goes through a circumcision? So I noticed that, the consultant is giving them a lot of advice about what to do, so on and so forth. Croy seems to be very warm about about having to change diapers. So that settles really well with me, because it looks like Kim is not going to have to do all this on her own. And Lord knows we would not want Sweetie to have to be the sole practitioner of changing diapers. So that was kind of interesting to see them learning that. So, and then again, it's Nene and Cynthia and Peter gets together, and they're pretty much sitting down. They're having drinks, and it's still coming up. This issue, they're still discussing the bad blood between Cynthia's sister Mel and Peter. And I think Nene is trying to give them some advice on how to handle the situation. Peter is pretty much just saying, that Mel, the sister, owes the both of them an apology because he feels like they were trying to sabotage their wedding day, and he's quite upset about that. He's saying that for the rest of their life they will have to deal with the fact that this happened not only from a guest but from his sister-in-law and his mother-in-law, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Cynthia's mother also had a lot to do with the wedding license, the marriage license coming up missing. And then we all know that Sheree is building Chateau Sheree. She's building this beautiful home from the ground up, and it comes to a point in the show where Sheree and Phaedra talks to the contractor, and apparently the contractor is not living up to the timeline agreement that he initially gave to Sheree. I think he had given her one date, and now the date is changing, and of course our beloved Phaedra saying, I am an attorney. I've been through this several times with building houses and dealing with contractors. I will take your behind into the courtroom, and I will. And that's pretty much what she said to him. And I think that Sheree can appreciate the fact that she does have a friend who is a successful attorney, and that can really offer her some really, really good advice on the ins and outs of dealing with these contractors and ultimately contracts with the contractors. So I'm looking to see in the next couple of episodes if he will be able to pull this through. Apparently he noted some sort of issue with the permit, and that was the reason why that was pretty much the reason why the house had not been together as much as possible, had not come together as it should have been. So again, back to Cynthia. She's closer and closer at this point to opening the Bailey agency, and she's trying to put some things together. And then her sister Mel comes with her husband, who's apparently a professional basketball player in another country. And so they're pretty much, this issue between Peter and Mel is still coming up. I personally will really, really, really look forward to seeing this just being resolved, because you can see that it's continuously resonating, and I can tell that the both of them really, really, really want to have it resolved, because it looks like from the very beginning that Peter and Mel had a really, really good relationship. So again, it continues to come up, and then there was this discussion about Cynthia being overly offensive because she brings up she brings up Mel's relationship problems, and Mel was like, look, all I'm just trying to do is offer my advice. I don't want you to get in the same situation with Peter in bar 1 as you did with Uptown, which was the previous bar. And I think what she was speaking about is the fact that Cynthia kind of went in the hole by investing so much money into the Uptown bar, and now that Peter is opening bar 1, she wants to make sure that Cynthia doesn't make the same mistake. But apparently, what I got a little bit from this episode and from the previews for the next week's episode, it looks like one of his investors gave him a $40,000 check, and apparently the check is not, the check cannot be can't be cashed. There is no $40,000. So now I think Cynthia is considering giving Peter the 40 grand, and then there's some discussion about that, because Cynthia clearly said from the very beginning that she would not be a financial partner in this venture to open bar 1. So at last, with a bang, closing the show with a bang, Candy has her birthday party, and all I can say is wow. I'll just start off by saying that it looks like it was a really, really nice party. She had a lot of people there. It looks like it really planned out well. However, toward the end, Phaedra, who is, we all know, is an entertainment attorney, Phaedra brings in one of her clients, who is an exotic dancer. And not to put his name out there, but of course, has a really well, he's really well known in Atlanta, and he performed, I'll just say that, for the ladies for Candy's birthday at Candy's birthday party. But apparently, Mama Joyce, which is Candy's mother, and Nene and a couple other people were not too appreciative about the performance and the presentation that was that was that happened at this party. So in the middle of the presentation, Nene walked out. Nene said, "You know what? I'm not dealing with this." And Mama Joyce is saying, "You." Mama Joyce kind of went off a little bit because she said, I did not like it. She felt as though that it was disrespectful, and she kind of was kind of upset with Candy. She thought Candy should have really, really respected her more by knowing by at least asking her to leave the room. Mm, I kind of want to back Candy up on this because Candy did not know that Phaedra was coming with this gift. I think if anything, I think Phaedra maybe probably should have been a little bit more mindful in how she gave Candy this gift. But anyway, we will see next week how these issues are resolved between Candy's mom and herself, and I really am looking forward to seeing if there will be a resolution to the problem between Peter and Mel, Cynthia's sister. So again, thank you so much for tuning into my review of this week's week 4 of season 4 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. You can also check me out every week after the show and every Wednesday for Talks with Tim. So until next time, take care.